On April 26, 1986, a routine test turned into the worst nuclear disaster in human history. But what happened that night was far worse than most people realize. The explosion was only the beginning. What followed would poison land, animals, and people for generations. And some of the most terrifying details were hidden for years. To understand why Chernobyl was so devastating, we have to go back to that night. Workers were preparing a safety test on reactor number 4. The goal seemed simple. They wanted to see how long turbines could power emergency systems after shutdown. But several delays pushed the test into the middle of the night. By then, an inexperienced crew was in charge. The reactor was already operating under dangerous conditions. Power levels suddenly dropped far below safe limits. Instead of stopping the test, workers tried to recover power. Safety systems were disabled one by one. The reactor became increasingly unstable. Yet the experiment continued. Then everything went wrong. Operators pressed the emergency shutdown button. It should have stopped the reactor instantly. Instead, it triggered a fatal design flaw. Power surged uncontrollably. Fuel channels ruptured. Steam pressure built instantly. Then came the first explosion. Seconds later, another explosion followed. A 1,000-ton reactor lid was thrown aside. The reactor core was completely exposed. Radioactive material began pouring into the air. The disaster had begun. Within minutes, firefighters rushed toward the burning reactor, believing they were responding to an ordinary industrial fire. None of them were told that the fire was radioactive. They climbed onto rooftops covered with deadly debris. Some picked up strange black rocks with their bare hands. Those rocks were pieces of the reactor core itself. Radiation levels around them were unimaginably high. In some locations, a person could receive a fatal dose in minutes. Yet they continued fighting the flames. Their actions prevented an even greater catastrophe. Many of them would never fully understand what they had been exposed to that night. Just 3 kilometers away stood the city of Pripyat. Nearly 50,000 people lived there. Most of them slept through the explosion. When morning arrived, life seemed normal. But radioactive dust was already falling from above. Children played outside beneath the contamination. Families opened windows to enjoy the warm spring air. Many residents gathered to watch the strange glow above the reactor. They had no idea they were witnessing one of history's worst disasters. Every hour they remained there increased their exposure. While Pripyat continued its normal routine, radioactive material was already spreading far beyond the city. Winds carried contamination across Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia. The invisible cloud continued traveling farther every hour. Yet residents of Pripyat were still not evacuated. Officials hesitated to announce the true scale of the disaster. Valuable time slipped away. Hospitals began receiving workers suffering from mysterious symptoms. Many complained of nausea, headaches, and a metallic taste in their mouths. Doctors quickly realized something extraordinary had happened, but the full truth was still hidden from the public. Nearly 36 hours after the explosion, evacuation finally began. Residents were told they would be gone for only a few days. People packed only essentials. Many left pets behind, expecting to return soon. They never returned to their homes. Pripyat became a ghost city almost overnight. Meanwhile, the first victims were becoming critically ill. Radiation had damaged their bodies at a cellular level. Some firefighters suffered severe radiation exposure within hours. Their heroic efforts had come at an unimaginable cost. Even after the evacuation, the danger was far from over. The reactor remained unstable. Scientists feared another explosion could occur. If that happened, the consequences could be catastrophic. Thousands of workers were mobilized to prevent that nightmare. These workers became known as the liquidators. Their mission was simple to describe but incredibly dangerous. They had to contain the reactor and clean the contamination. Every assignment exposed them to radiation. Yet they continued because the alternative was unthinkable.